We're recording. Yes.
Recording.
We're back. I'm so excited.
Yes. So happy. Welcome to Two Black Girls, One Rose.
Where two black-ass girls invade the whitest show on earth. Bachelor in Paradise. I'm Natasha.
And I'm Justine.
And we just watched week 4, right? Of Paradise. A lot of mess. A lot of mess, actually.
Yeah, it was good.
It was a really good episode, like past 2 episodes.
Yep.
Yeah, let's just get right into it. What was your initial thoughts?
Sure. So my initial thought was like, okay, now this is actually getting really good. Now I see why people are addicted to Bachelor in Paradise.
See?
And why people like wait for it. I wasn't. I was like, okay, I see why people are watching this. Now I see why people like tune in every week and are out here really excited for it. I was really happy that my boo got some screen time, Eric.
Forgot he was even in Paradise. Goddamn.
Even though he was up to his fuck nigga tendencies. And Angela, I would say welcome to dating niggas. I don't know if you're new here, but this is sometimes how it goes, girl. So welcome.
The white niggas out here doing the same shit though.
They will. But as
they
soon
will.
as
They are. The white guys are just as bad.
But the way Eric was talking, I was like, "Ooh, I think I've actually heard that before."
It was a black.
Like, I woke up and the sun's shadows changed my opinion of how I feel in this relationship. You know,
the sun's shadows.
That's how niggas be talking. Anyway, Angela, so welcome to the club. And I think I'm gonna have a soapbox moment. I'm gonna have one.
Ooh, really?
Yeah.
Yes, I love a good Justine soapbox. Let me sit down for a second, please.
What about you, friend?
Okay, so first and foremost, I have a really bad cough, y'all. Let me just put that out there.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm doped up on Robitussin. I am sucking on lozenges. I have a big thing of water next to me. So I apologize if I'm coughing in your ear on this episode. Anyways, initial thoughts. Your show idea, Bachelor in Therapy, needs to happen. Like, dead ass. There's so many people who need real therapy on this show.
Yeah,
it doesn't speak from somebody who's in therapy. Like,
I know.
I go to therapy every week. It is fabulous. Shout out to Dr. Olsen. Like, I love her. Like, so this is no shade. Like, I'm all on therapy, but there's a lot of people on the show who really need help. Benoit really showed his ass this episode. I'm going to get into him later.
I was going to say, like, I hope we get into it because my man.
Like, I will therapy you. Like, if you can't find somebody.
You don't even need a doctor. You just need
somebody to talk with sense. Someone to ask a couple active questions. I don't know. Annalise, we already know her bullshit.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Kevin revealed that he's in therapy because he's been
twice a week.
Yeah,
which
scarred.
Kevin, what kind of insurance you got? Oh no, he's a fireman.
Canadian insurance.
And he's Canadian.
Exactly.
Oh my god, you guys are so lucky.
He's going to therapy as many times as he wants a week.
Yeah, damn.
But yeah, there's just a lot of people who are like very desperate for love, but are searching for people to fill their voids. They're you can tell a lot of people just not very complete in themselves. Yeah. And they have no business being on Paradise. Right. It's like very unhealthy for them to actually be here. And so yeah, Bachelor in Therapy, I'm all for that show.
Oh my god, that would be so fun.
That would be amazing and much needed. That's the first thought. Second thought, which I'm definitely gonna get into this, I feel so disrespected by the way that Jubilee and the John foolishness played out, or lack thereof played out. Yeah. Just a slap in the face to anybody watching the show who gave a shit about Jubilee and John. And you made us sit through countless hours of Tia and Colton bullshit that we've been telling you up and down on Twitter that we're tired of seeing it. But y'all don't give a shit, so no. But I'll save that for later on. Okay. And then lastly, Leo. Leo is every woman's worst nightmare.
Yeah.
Like like he's packaged into one. Like all of our fears and that. He's the personification of that. I fear for the safety and well-being of any woman who enters into a relationship with him.
Oh, yeah.
Like their emotional, mental, physical safety around this man, because he is just toxic. He's really scary, actually. Like there's so many like trigger, not even just red flags, like just scary tendencies that he presented in this episode that was really just making me want to run for help, and I'm not even in danger, so I don't know. So those are my initial thoughts.
I agree with all of them.
So before we get into the recap, of course, first and foremost, we have to say rate, review, subscribe. We say it every weekend. We say this every week. We need the podcast to grow for us to continue to do it.
Yes.
So, I mean, just put it right out there. For us to keep doing this, we want the community to keep building, keep growing. Spread the word, tell a friend, retweet us, interact with us on Facebook, share us on Facebook, send the link to your auntie. Just spread the word.
Your grandma. We've been hearing about grandmas listening to this podcast.
Yeah. Yes, we've had grandmas write to us.
Yep.
So please continue to spread the word. As I said, we need the podcast to grow for us to continue to do this. So we rely on you guys to rate, review, subscribe, and spread the word. So that's the first thing. Secondly, if you're not already following us on Twitter, if you're new to the podcast, we are live on Twitter. It's a good time. Our handle is the number 2 BLK girls, the number 1 Rose. Also very proud of all the dialogue that's been happening on our Twitter feed.
Yes.
A lot of
lots of
harmony,
progressive conversation.
Yes, like full-on dialogues of like social justice issues on our timeline. It is making me so proud and just beautiful to read. So love you guys who are engaging in all of that. Our email is the number 2 blackgirls, the number 1 rose @gmail.com. We do email call-outs almost every episode. So listen in for if you're in a crazy situation and email us and let us know. And hit us up on Facebook as well. Okay, so quick announcement, very exciting announcement. Last season with Ari, Justine and I did a 2-part episode series called The Nice for What to These Niggas, part 1 and 2. If you haven't listened to them from last season, go and do that. On these episodes, we did a deep dive into like different themes that came up on Ari's season, and we just dissected the shit out of it. The both of us shared a lot of our own personal dating and relationship stories, and they were really fun episodes to do. So we're doing that again for Becca's season / Bachelor in Paradise. And so we wanted to announce to everybody our themes, our upcoming themes for the episodes, because we are also adding another component, and that we want to do a mailbag episode. Yay! Very exciting. We already tell you guys to email us all your mess, but we want to do a full episode where we answer questions that you guys send in to us related to dating, relationships, life, any questions that you have that relate to any of the themes that we talk about. We would love you to send that in to us, and that episode we'll be doing on September 24th, so you have a full-on month to send us your questions. But the themes that we're going to be discussing, and these are for part 1, these are themes from Becca's season. 5 themes. First theme is what we call everyday bigots. So dealing with the Garretts of the world, whether it's dating, work, just the kind of casual nonsense people with very differing beliefs than you.
Microaggressions, if you will.
Microaggressions
that may come up.
Yes, the everyday bigots. So send us your questions. Second theme is we're going to dissect all the toxic masculinity that was presented on Becca's season. The gospel Chris's of the world, the Leos of the world. Would love for you guys to send in your questions, concerns, things that have come up in your life as it relates to that topic. Third theme, We called it Dating the Nice Guy.
Mm-hmm.
The Venmo Johns of the world.
The Clays.
The Clays.
Yeah.
The grocery store Joes.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk about our experiences with those types of guys and kind of talk about, do nice guys finish last? Do we women need to stop talking about how we want a man with an edge and actually just date Venmo John? So we'll be talking about that. Please send us in your questions. Fourth theme is people and their words. So men or women and their empty words. We had a lot of poets on this Becca season. A lot of people just talking foolishness. Yeah. Garrett trying to string words together to build the statements.
The little he has.
The little vocabulary that he has. So yeah, we want to talk about actions versus words and which is more important and things that have come up for us in our lives. Again, send us in your questions. And then the last theme, we're calling this Something Old, Something New. So this theme is related to whether, you date someone who's familiar. You date what you're comfortable with. So, Becca choosing Garrett, someone who reminds her of home. Or is it better to date someone who's a little risky or maybe presents something that you're not used to? So something old, something new, which is better. But send us in your questions. What's happening in your real life right now? What do you need help with? I will try to help you.
Yeah.
And I need help myself, but I will try.
And I am really excited to hear your guys' questions about not only dating and romantic relationships, but also work. Because Natasha and I have very different work experiences. And I think that it would come in handy to answer your guys' questions, especially because you're from all around the world. What you guys have dealt with in terms of especially everyday bigots and toxic masculinity.
In the workplace, woo! Huh.
Love it.
I know there's ladies out there that got some, some stuff.
I know you
stuff
guys
going
have
on with
questions.
that.
Yeah.
So please, those are the themes. Please send us in your questions. Again, that episode will be September 24th. So you have a full month to get it in. I urge you to please keep the emails brief. Brevity is key.
Like, we don't need the whole background story.
No, not the whole background story. Give us some context.
Relative context, yeah.
Yes, but we will be selecting, a few to read on air and to dissect. So quick and to the point would be great.
Yes.
So yeah, that's that. Now we do have some church announcements. Yay! Whip out your program.
In the inbox this week, we had a lot of love from Lesbian Bachelor Nation.
I know. I'm so excited now that I'm privy to this group. Yeah, yes. I didn't even know.
Yeah. I'm excited you guys are out here and that you guys are listening to us. I think this is great. I thought it was really interesting. Marcia, forgive me if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. Could be Marcia. But she said that she started watching The Bachelor to relate to her white heterosexual female coworkers.
Yes.
I think that's actually the easiest and fastest way to bond with white women is to start watching The Bachelor.
The Bachelor. That's true. It's a good water cooler conversation if you're a person of color or a lesbian. Just to watch that and have something to say.
Yes, exactly. But shout out to Katya, Rachel, Teresa, Marsha, and Susie, who all emailed us with some great stuff this week and some love. So thank you. Also, just a note for the inbox in general, we've been getting a lot of emails, which we love. Thank you guys so much. Yeah, you've been listening to the call outs in the beginning and the end of the episode, which we love. But we try to respond to everybody, but sometimes we just can't respond all the time. We read everything. So just so you know, if you email the number 2 black girls, the number 1 rose at gmail.com, it's getting read by both of us. Thank you, everybody, for the inbox, but you might not get a response.
Yes. Don't take it personal. We just get so many now.
Yeah.
Which is good. It's a good problem to have.
It is. Yes. And shout out, actually, to one of our frequent inboxers, Lauren B., the good one. She actually asked us a question about what our list would be for the guys that we look for, which we're going to table that for the Nice for What discussions later on in September. But she also asked us what we like about Peter, Eric, Kenny, and Joe that we're so attracted to that, you know, we just know that they'd be our husbands.
And I think the reason she asked this too is because we're always talking about how, like, why don't these people know what they want? They're coming out to paradise. No one seems to have a clear idea of, like, what the hell they want. So I think she's putting it back on us now.
Yeah,
so now
right.
we need to say, you know,
Fair.
why are our husbands our husbands, or what do we see in them?
Yes. So I know for me, for Eric and Kenny, I really like a guy who is has a manly energy about him, but also doesn't take things too seriously, because sometimes I can get in my feelings. Sometimes I can take things way too seriously. So I need somebody to kind of lift me up out of that mode. Also appreciate anyone who is spiritually involved. So Eric definitely falls in that category. Don't know if it's God, don't know if it's the planets, don't know if it's, weed. But he is spiritually involved, which I love. And I am strangely attracted to fathers over the age of 35. So there's Kenny. And wrestlers. Oh my God, yes.
That's true. I forgot you're, like, big into Glow. Like, women wrestling, and
I'm into women's wrestling. I'm into Total Divas. The men's side, I don't know. It gets a little funny with the makeup and the outfits, but I can get down with it. I can do it.
You know, like the little briefs they have on, little shiny magenta brief.
Yeah. So for you, I guess you could take Joe and also Peter.
Yeah. So Peter, I mean, I've said before, like, the one thing I loved about Peter is that he was a realist in this kind of fantasy world, and he kind of turned the franchise on its head in a way that no other contestant really had done before, in my opinion. And that he just, like, would not participate in the bullshit. Like, I think he came there, looking for love, but he's also, like, he was being very intentional in, like, his courtship or whatnot with Rachel, and that he didn't need Rachel. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of the people go on the show, they present this, like, I need this person. It doesn't even have to be Rachel. It could be anyone, and they will, like, be so in love with them. And I like that he kind of had this confidence to him where he's like, I don't need her. I think she's wonderful, and I'm here looking for love, but I can also just go home and find somebody else. And so some people don't like that. I like that because it was a confidence in, like, a man who just, like, wasn't desperate in a way that a lot of the people that go on these shows kind of reek of desperation. Which, I'm desperate. I want love too, but, like, I want it to be intentional, not just I'm in love with this person because they are the person that's here for me.
Right.
So that's why I love Peter. And then Joe, I just like, similar to Peter, Joe is just so regular schmegular and not about this life. In terms of, like, not like he kind of, like, became the grocery store Joe in this, like, figure, but he doesn't seem as someone who, like, came on for this reason. Even now on Bachelor in Paradise, he's like, all right, Kendall, if you don't give me a rose, I'm just gonna go home. Like, I don't need
because I don't need anybody else.
I don't need any of this stuff. So he's like very simple and, like, under the radar and just, like, a nice, sweet person, and I believe they're for the right reasons. And so that's why I love Joe. I think that's why most people love Joe, to be honest.
Oh, yeah. And Joe, in this episode, also, like, brought Kendall down to real life.
Brought her right back home down.
Appreciated.
Exactly. So, thanks for your email.
Yeah.
Who was that, Lauren?
Lauren B. Yep.
B. Okay, quick Bachelor Nation news. I don't know if you know this, Justine. So
what's going on?
Courtney and Lily from Bachelor Winter Games have broken up.
What?
Yeah.
No.
So anyone who watched the Winter Games, they were the little Australian couple who were, like, very quirky and, like, funny and cute. And if you follow them, I loved following them on Instagram. They've been basically traveling the U.S. by camper van for the last 8 months, and I love this, and this is my dream life.
Oh my my God.
to go back and live in a van.
I don't even know. I would just have to FaceTime you, girl. I couldn't even meet you nowhere.
It looks so fun. They look so in love and like so cute and just having fun all over the US in their little van. But yeah, they broke up. They both posted like Instagram stories, like singing each other's praises, but basically saying like it's been amicable and like we're going our separate ways after I think it's like 8 months that they've been together. So, which is
It was only 8 months.
That's pretty long in this world here.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. Wow.
That was pretty damn good. But yeah, so that is that. Another one bites the dust. But yeah, that's it for news. Time to get into the recap.
Yep.
Dive on in. All right. Oh God. Just always feel so heavy going. Just so long.
I know, because it's so long.
So long. So much content. So much to discuss. Okay, so recap from last week. So we kind of pick up from last week, where Benoit and Jenna had like a great date, and they, you know, were all making out and had a great old time, and they basically returned to Jordan, like waiting in the pool, like waiting for Jenna to return home. So, so this week, so just remember the women have the power this week. So hence why Jordan all episode is like running around frantically and like Benoit, everyone's like running frantically, the men, because they're like trying to make sure they secure Rose. Last week went on the date, she came back to Jordan in the pool, he confesses his feelings, yada yada. So now the next day, Jenna is cozying up on the daybed with Benoit, and they are just hardcore making out.
Tonguing down. Yeah.
And meanwhile, Jordan is up top talking with Joe, chatting about how, you know, Jenna's so great and what they have is so strong, and how, you know, she came back from her date last night, we had a conversation, everything went well. Then poor little Jordan literally turns his head to the left.
Yep.
Just turns
looked over to the left.
Yep.
Okay.
Is that a tweet reference? Oh my God, just did one hit wonder tweet.
No, shout out to Tweet. She like writes songs and does people background vocals.
Oh, she does?
She's like,
okay.
Under her real name. She's like, she's dope.
Tweet's out here. So yeah, so Jordan looked over to the left and literally saw Jenna and Benoit like tonguing down, like in the midst of his conversation with Colton about everything's going great. So Jordan sees this. He can't stop staring. It's like watching a car crash. Like you don't want to look, but you can't stop looking at this thing that is literally crushing you inside. So that love triangle's still going. Krystal and Chris. They are, you know, laying out, just talking bullshit to each other.
It's just physical with those two.
Right. I'm not seeing... Yeah.
I don't know how they connect any other way. I don't
understand. So, yeah, even during this conversation, she was talking about how she's been working on her glutes, and he's talking about, your ass is so nice, like... All right.
And I feel like both of them have pretty deep, like, family issues that they could talk about. And I don't know why they're either not showing it or they're not talking about that. Right. But, like, Chris's parents were divorced and his dad didn't talk to him or something, right? Remember? Something. I don't know. Remember. And then Krystal had a homeless brother. Like, that is something to talk about.
Right. So a lot of meat here, a lot of conversation starters, like
lots of stuff to relate to. Right. So I don't really know why they're just talking about her ass.
Or at least that's what they're showing. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
But they definitely seem more heavy on the physical connection than anything.
Yeah.
So Chris is talking about how they're potentially the strongest couple in paradise.
You know,
allegedly. And then a new arrival comes, just like clockwork. New arrival, and it is Connor. Connor from Becca's season. And he says he is stoked to see Krystal. I hate this word, stoked.
Yeah, me too.
They use it a lot this season. So Connor looks good. Connor's looking good.
He does.
Yeah. He's got a great body.
He looks really good.
Great body. No chest hair, which I'm always a little weirded out by.
Yeah, but he's 25, so
he's into the waxing or whatever.
They haven't sprouted yet. Yeah.
His hair's looking, it's always very full. Very full and high. I'm not a fan of his hair. Just putting that out there.
I'm a fan of the volume.
I like the volume.
I don't know if I'm a fan of the style, though.
Yes. I think he needs to do a, where the guys, they shave down the sides, and then they have just, like, a lot happening up top. It's like that hot, like, hipster, like, haircut or whatever. He needs something. It's, like, too much volume all around, I feel like.
Yeah.
Yep. So he shows up. He is 25, so I'm already like, just young and not taking him seriously.
Because Krystal's 30.
Krystal's 30. Yes.
Yeah. So okay.
So that's that. He comes down to the beach, and literally the minute Krystal sees him,
her face.
Her face. She looks like she almost had a look like she's met him before. I don't trust none of these people.
I know.
That was the first glimmer in her eye. I was like, oh, they've met before. They've DM'd, or there's been something there already before.
Communication.
Yeah, that was the first thing. But the second thing, she was like, oh my God, he's beautiful. Like, she literally forgot about Chris in that moment.
Yeah, oh yeah, totally.
Mm-hmm. And she admits to the cameras that she came to Paradise for Connor. Like, that was her dude. So Connor, he comes with a date card, so he's pulling people. He pulls Krystal aside, and Chris, meanwhile, is talking to everybody, talking about she's not going on this date. Why is she gonna dabble? She has everything she needs with me.
He's so controlling. Like, oh my God.
I'm control. It's like controlling, but it's also like, it's the same, like, masculine foolishness, like, laying his dick on the table, like, I'm the best, she ain't gonna choose nobody, like, I'm confident, I have nothing to worry about, like, it's okay to admit that you're, like, a little nervous. It's okay, Chris.
It's fine.
Totally fine. Jesus. So he's talking a whole big talk. So Krystal, she's talking with Connor, and she tells him flat out that she came to Paradise for him. She came to meet him. But she's in this thing with Chris, and she's like a bit smitten by Chris, and basically says to him that she wants to stick with him. Like, I'm going to stick with Chris. I wish you the best. Right. And so Krystal immediately runs and has a conversation with Chris and tells him, like, I choose you, and I'm not going on this date with Connor. Chris is running around the island telling everybody, like, see, I was right. She ain't going on a date. Right. Like, marching around. Soon after that, Krystal has a little conversation with Eric. Eric is like the spiritual guru who just...
I know. I love this. He
brings enlightenment to people and makes them question their choices. So she has a little side convo with Eric, telling him that she turned down the date with Connor. And Eric basically was like, why the fuck would you do something like that?
Why would you do that? Yeah.
And just in that moment, Connor comes up to her again and asks her, like, look, I want to go on this date. I know you say you don't want to go. You have this thing with Chris, but I really think that we should go. And she accepts.
As she should,
I think. Because Chris is shaky. I don't trust him. She shouldn't trust him.
Me either. Yeah, she should be telling him one thing and then doing another. He's the type to like that type of shit.
Because he's the king of doing that shit. But also, she came to Paradise for Connor, so I feel like she owes it to herself to go.
Yeah.
And also, I wish nothing but misery for Chris. So,
wow,
I was ecstatic. I was like, yes, Krystal, run off. I can't stand Chris. So Krystal tells Chris she's going on the dates. This was a smooth 10 minutes after she said she was not going on the dates. Very reminiscent of Chris telling Tia that she's the one, and 10 minutes later making out with Krystal. So
kissing Krystal.
Karma is a motherfucking bitch, Chris. There you go. So Krystal and Connor go off on their dates. Their date card says something about something mystical or magical is gonna happen.
Yeah.
And they basically go to some remote area of the beach or something, and there's like this shaman, I guess, doing prayers and rituals, and
Yeah, but I thought it was a really cool date.
It was interesting. They didn't really give any context. It was just them being buried in like this ritual, so I don't really know what to say. So yeah, they do this kind of cool little spiritual dates, and then the next we see, they're just in the ocean making out.
Yeah, and Krystal came to that date damn near nude.
Oh yeah, she had her little top.
I don't know if that was a top or a bathing suit.
Probably a little bit both.
That she just wore as a top.
Sure did. When you got a stomach like Krystal, you better be out here showing them abs.
That's what I really appreciate about Krystal playing this game, is that she's playing the game right. She's got like multiple dudes. She's got her lies down. Like she just spreads her lies to the right people. And she's got like a look about her. She does this like hair scarf abuela shit in the daytime. And then she's like nude at night. Like, I just appreciate this.
I do. I appreciate her styling. She has a great body. She owns her body. She's good with the eye contact too. You notice? She gives those little bedroom eyes or whatever you want to call it. She props herself up well on the daybed. She knows the angle. She knows a good angle.
Yeah, and she has like no boobs, but she doesn't care.
She's out here.
And she's just out here. I love it.
Really appreciate it. So she had a very good date with Connor. Back on the beach, Jenna and Jordan. Good.
Oh, jeez.
So Jordan pulls Jenna aside from Benoit. She was literally in the midst of chatting with Benoit. And he, again, he's really trying to fight for this love. And he gives another whole speech about how strong his feelings are for her and how he's scared that he'll never feel this way again for someone. Like, he really had love at first sight with this girl, or love at first date. Yep. Like, I truly, genuinely believe, like, he's fully, the look in Jordan's eye, he looks terrified. Like, he's scared of what he's feeling inside his chest. Like, his heart is about to, like, anytime she's around, he's, like, going through it. So, he gives this whole speech. Jenna, she's not helping the situation, because as she's giving the speech, she's kind of like rubbing his ear.
I know.
And like keeping him in the loop. And then they immediately start kissing. She's a man eater. This is that.
I know. I thought this was odd because while she is man eating, yes, but she also isn't as like man eaters usually aren't very sensitive. Jenna strikes me to be the type to be very sensitive.
She cares a lot about people's feelings. She doesn't want to hurt anybody.
Yeah, which you can't do when you're making out with people
left
broad daylight. 2 feet away from each other. You can't be doing that and then saying like, "Oh my God, I feel so bad. I hurt his feelings." What?
Going back and forth. Yeah. So yeah, she's rubbing his little earlobe, and then they start kissing, and so Jordan now is back in the game. I mean, she just had this fantastic day with Benoit, was rolling around on the day beds during the day, and now at nighttime she's back with Jordan, like truly bouncing back and forth. So Jordan's back in the game. He's thinking he's the number 1 spot again, and so he's back. Jenna and Benoit. She goes to have a chat with Benoit right after she leaves Jordan, kissing Jordan, and tells Benoit how she's just very confused and she doesn't want to kiss either of them anymore because it's only making her feel worse and even more confused. Cue Benoit grabbing her face and making out. Like, literally that...
Yeah, because he's like, I don't care what you say.
Yeah, that lasted a second. And cue Jordan walking by and seeing them again.
Oh my God.
I was like... I feel like the producer's like holding Jordan and then they're like, okay, you can walk now. Just to time it perfectly, so he sees every time they make out. So yeah, he sees it, and soon afterwards he pulls Benoit. After they're done making out, he pulls Benoit, and he is just irate. He like pulls Benoit away. They go sit by the pool, and he's just going in on Benoit, and pretty much is releasing all of his frustrations with Jenna out on Benoit.
Right.
And Benoit's like, I don't even want to have this conversation. Like, your issue's not with me.
This isn't for me,
nor do I want to sit here with you right now. Like, go do this with homegirl, because like I don't need to do this. So yeah, that love triangle is just fully happening. Meanwhile, Kenny and Annalise.
Yeah.
Annalise is saying how she's having a great time with Kenny. You know, we see each other. He's everything I've asked for in a man.
Everything, girl.
And she said the same thing about Jordan. She said the same thing about...
Right.
Who else was she with before Kenny? She's been with about everybody on this island and says that he was the man for her, so...
I think John. I want to say she
made up with John. I can't remember who else she was with.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's out here just saying everybody's the man she's asked for, and Kenny's the lucky man this week. Kenny pulls her aside, and you know this wasn't going to end well when anyone's pulling her aside, and basically says that he has to go home because his daughter has a recital. So cute. So cute / I cracked up when he said this. I was like, really, Kenny? You pulled the recital excuse? You were just not into this girl. That's it.
Yeah, and didn't see any more coming. And so you said, you know what? Gotta go. Bibiana's gone. He probably wished he picked Bibiana and then didn't, so.
Stuck with Annalise, and he's like, you know what? My daughter got a tap dance recital, and I gotta go home. Kenny knows damn well they have these recitals every 3 months. All the damn time. He could have really missed this one if he needed to. He could have stayed here and found love, but he just wasn't into it, and so he exited to the left. So poor Annalise she's just truly on a roller coaster, up and down, up and down. 1 minute she's like so happy, she's found love, she's found the man of her dreams, and literally in that afternoon she's crying because he's left her or he's gone on a date with somebody else. She's like up and down. I feel for this girl. So Krystal finally returns from her date with Connor, and Chris is just really hoping they didn't kiss. That's all he's hoping. Like, I really hope they didn't kiss. Meanwhile, Connor and Krystal on the top of the steps, tonguing down.
Yeah, they were rolling around in the ocean.
And before they go down to the beach, they're just getting one last makeout in.
Yeah.
And she finally, goes down the steps, returns, and Chris pulls her aside. And he's trying to pull anything out of her, trying to get some tea about what was this date like. And Krystal, she just plays it cool. She's like, you know what? I'm tired. Let's just go to sleep, and I'll talk to you in the morning.
Yeah.
And I loved it. I just loved every minute. He wanted any intel, anything. And now he has to go to bed, not getting any sleep, tossing and turning, because he doesn't know what happened on the date. And I love it. So yeah, they're going to talk in the morning. The next day, bright new day, we learn Jubilee went home.
Yeah, from a black and white flashback.
We get a throwback B-roll footage of her leaving paradise after Venmo John had a conversation with her about how he wants them to be friends instead. And we just get B-roll. That's it.
That's it. We get the back of her head.
The back of her head rolling out and a 3-second glimpse of this conversation that they had. I'm so pissed. I'm about to get up on a soapbox.
Oh,
you
I'm
too?
Okay.
I'm so pissed by this. I'm so pissed.
Yeah, me too.
All I've ever wanted to see was anybody on this beach besides Tia and Colton and Jordan and Jenna every 5 seconds, Annalise crying every 5 seconds.
Yeah.
There are like mad people in paradise. There's actually a shit ton of people on this beach. But we only ever see like a quarter of them.
Yeah.
And Jubilee and John unarguably is one of the most intriguing characters that's ever been on The Bachelor.
Absolutely.
This is not even just us talking and not even just writing for him as a person of color, but he's truly very interesting person that they've ever casted.
Yeah.
Jubilee also very interesting girl. She not only is she beautiful and all that stuff, this is her 3rd time being on the show.
Exactly. Yeah.
She's a military vet. She's very smart and accomplished. She even, I had to like rack my brain back from when she was on Ben's season. She, I think she was like adopted from Haiti and has like some really like deep backstory. Like she has more depth and there's more things to her than like half the girls on this beach combined. And we don't get none but some B-roll of her leaving out the island. Are you serious? Like, they treat the people of color like they're afterthoughts.
Yeah.
Like,
this is part of my soapbox that I was going to get on, because I was kind of in the tweets this week, real heavy in the tweets this Monday. And I saw a lot of conversation. I actually had to mute a couple of people because you all were wilding, and we would have gotten into Twitter jail if I really got into it. But people who watch this show, who are either like Tia and Colton stans or Annalise stans or whatever, just like the quote-unquote typical Bachelor Nation fan, keep minimalizing the problems that the people of color are facing on this show. And that's what the problem is. They keep saying it's not a big deal, nothing probably happened. What are you talking about? It's not about race. What are you saying? Oh, they got the same treatment as this one from Bachelor in Paradise 2012. This is not... you can't keep minimizing it. Like, black people are all over HBO. We're all over all of your TV screens. We're all over ABC shit. We're all over everywhere. You cannot keep minimizing our story. They keep... If you have a whole ass half-hour date dedicated to John and Jubilee, you have to then conclude the story.
Thank you.
You cannot just end the story with a period and then say, okay, this is done. Sorry.
Yeah, we literally haven't seen them since their date. We haven't seen any development of their love story, and now we just see them go home. And we don't see how that happened. We don't see what led up to John's decision or his conversation with her. We saw nothing.
Saw nothing about Jubilee wanting to stay to see if she could work it out with somebody else, because all the guys were drooling over her when she got there. Oh. So she could have easily stolen somebody else. Yep. And she just didn't want to? We don't know. We'll never know.
We'll never know. We never got it. It's just so annoying, because I feel like this was a love story that I feel like a lot of people wanted to see. We've seen so much footage of Jordan and Jenna. Colton and Tia is just, come on, like, we're just done with this. And all we get is a 20-second flashback of John and Jubilee. Like, we didn't even get to see any footage of them at all. Ugh, it was so annoying. It was just... Yeah, they really treat us like we're extras or like decoration. Yeah. Like, their love story is never prioritized, ever. Never, ever. And it's not fair to the people on the show, because Jubilee, she took off work like everybody else. Right. She put in her days. She put in her little notice for her vacation days, just like everybody else. So why doesn't she get, the same treatment on the show and get the little airtime, get her journey of love to be shown? Right. It's not even fair to the contestants.
Yeah, it's the minimizing of the people of color as main characters of the show that really gets on my nerves.
Yeah, very annoying. So, yeah, obviously we were not happy about that. And just don't even have, with so many questions just, like, unanswered.
Yeah, and we'll never have the answer.
And we'll never have the answer. God. So, yeah, that happened. Then we have a new arrival, Camille, the social media participant from Becca's season.
The worst, yeah. The 60-40.
Yes, Mr. 60-40, where he made Becca meet him 40% of the way, or 60% of the way, and he meets 40, whatever, his lame-ass little entrance, like, whatever. He's boring as shit.
He's the worst,
He's so boring. So he arrives, he pulls Annalise first, and who, fresh off of Kenny sending her home, so she'll take anybody, honestly. Yeah. Yep. We learned that he's from New York, they're both only children, and Annalise, she's back on her 16-hour shift, trying to get this rose. She's telling everybody, he's my type, he's so my type. Oh my God. Broken record, she says this about everybody. Mm-hmm. He then pulls Krystal, and then pulls Chelsea. Chelsea also desperately needs a rose.
Yes, so badly.
She's like a forgotten person on Paradise. Like,
that's her and David are, and I think she's just tired of getting roses from David. So she's like, let me just try and find somebody who I'm actually attracted to.
Let me get in the game for once. Yeah. And so Camille ends up choosing Annalise. So for their date, they go off in these like 4-wheeler, like dirt bike things. I don't really know what this was.
The waterfall, like zip lining.
Well, first they were in like that 4-wheeler like truck thing.
Oh yeah, the ATVs.
Like an ATV thing. They ride over this bridge, which I was very proud of Annalise. I thought she was gonna.
I know.
I thought she was gonna.
This was very adventurous for her.
Very adventurous. Heights and wobbly bridge thing. Like I didn't know she was gonna do it. So yeah, they're riding the ATVs and they kind of go to this little area and they swim and make out in the waterfalls and all that jazz. Meanwhile, back on the beach, Kevin and Astrid.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like a solid couple.
Yeah.
Astrid literally has not talked to any other guys.
Nope.
Kevin on day 1, I think, kissed Krystal, and that's like basically it. They've been a couple like from day 1.
Yeah.
So Kevin says he's really been enjoying spending time with her, and then he very oddly says that, I kind of want you to go on a date with another guy, and then talks about how he almost wishes that she had dated other guys on Paradise and then chose him. Which very confusing. I had to like wrap my head around this. Like, what?
I know. I didn't understand the deeper meaning behind that until he said so.
Right. So, so he says this. It's very confusing for everybody and Astrid. It's almost as if he was like jealous of everybody else's drama. Like he wanted drama of his own.
He was just bored.
Bored, yeah. Like this is working out too good. Like let's stir some shit up. I don't know.
Yeah.
So Astrid runs off crying. 'Cause she's like, what the fuck is this? And Kevin eventually comes and he explains himself further. And he reveals, he's like, look, so he was on The Bachelorette Canada and he made it to the end. He was the winner. Was he the winner? No, I think he was the winner.
What?
I think he was the winner. He proposed to the girl and then they broke up after the show. So he said, look, I was on Bachelorette. I proposed. I've done this before. Everything was all hunky-dory with her until we got into the real world, and then the shit crumbled.
Yeah.
And so what he was trying to say was that, like, they haven't really gone through any tests. They haven't had any difficulties in their, like, week or whatever that they've been on Paradise. And that actually is making him feel insecure. Like, it's almost like the Blake Becca thing. Like, he feels as if it's too good to be true. And then he keeps going in. I kind of liked Kevin in this moment.
Kevin.
Yeah. He said he almost didn't come to Paradise up until the day before because he doesn't, and he said something like, I don't want to just hook up with someone for Instagram. He said, I'm 34 years old. I don't have time for this. Like,
wow.
And then he's like, I'm 0 for 2. I was on Bachelorette.
Yeah. And
didn't work out. I was with Ashley on Winter Games. And then she fucking broke my heart afterwards when she got engaged cheated on him with Jared. Yeah. And now they're engaged. Jared, And he's like, I don't have time to play around. I'm 34. This is not some Instagram shit for me. Like, this is real life.
And 34, that's like, to say that as a man... Like, that's a pretty
that's some woman
mature
shit.
Thing to say.
Yeah. That'd be women. Like, I'm 34. I'm trying to get out of this game. Yeah. He was saying that. Like, he's tired of this.
Yep.
And then he said, I feel bad. He was like, he feels like he's damaged. Like, he was so heartbroken after Ashley. And he full on proposed to someone and it didn't work out. And so now he's, like, back in this again with Astrid. And he's like, you're my dream girl. And I just keep waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Right.
And that's, like, freaking me out. And so they had a whole little moment kind of, like, confirming for each other that, let's just not get in over our heads and, like, self-sabotage.
Yeah. Let's just keep going.
Just keep going. Just keep going with it. And, yeah, it was cute. I think it solidified their relationship. Definitely
humanized Kevin.
Definitely.
That was definitely like, who is this man who's supposed to be hunky, who I'm not attracted to, don't care about him. Yeah. But now he's like the voice of reason in Paradise. Yeah, him and Eric are like the two voices of reason.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I definitely appreciate Kevin. So that was that. Jenna, Benoit, and Jordan. Still going. So Jordan is just slowly rotting from the inside out, watching Jenna and Benoit just canoodle, do anything. This is like, as I said, this is a for real love triangle. Like, she is spending time with Jordan. Yes. They're making out, looking into their eyes. I love you. And she's running over to Benoit. You're awesome. Making out. This is great. Like, she's truly torn and, like, equally spending time with both of them and fucking up. All three of them are just all fucked. Like, yeah. It's just a mess. So Jordan tells her, like, I will fall in love with you, like, within days. And, like, you're not meant for anybody else. Like, we're supposed to be together. Oh, my God. It's just a lot. There's just, like, a lot to just throw on somebody.
After they just got done making out with somebody else? I don't know. I don't understand this mentality.
Jordan's terrified. This is what that is.
Yeah.
He's terrified. He is willing to put up with her making out with somebody else as long as every so often she gives him a chance to come and just speak his piece, and hopefully it clicks with her one day. Like, that's his game plan for now. Jenna, she's truly torn because she says she feels very secure with Benoit. Benoit's obviously, like, the logical choice. With Jordan, he just, has her heart, and how, the way he looks at her, he's looking into her, and, this whole thing. So she finally decides in that moment that she needs to break it off with Benoit, follow her heart. She finally decides to make a decision, and chooses Jordan, which not sure if that's the wisest choice. It was definitely
probably not.
It was head over heart. She chose heart.
Yeah, right.
You can't knock people for following their heart. I just know that this is gonna crash and burn. Like, this is not gonna last. And I can't say that Benoit was the better choice because Benoit, like, has issues and needs to go figure his shit out. So
the thing that would scare me is that if Jordan can yell at Chelsea and Jubilee that way, and he didn't even know them like that, what the fuck would he say to Jenna?
Yeah. If
she did something that, like, really made him mad? Ooh, yeah. I don't want to know.
And Jenna, she's going to break his heart. Like, she's.
Oh yeah,
this is gonna be her breaking his heart. Like, it's not gonna be the other way around. And so, how is he gonna handle that? I don't know. I really don't know. So next love triangle: Leo, Kendall, and Joe.
Oh my God, this is preposterous.
So Kendall, she's, like, totally into Leo, and it is mind-boggling.
Me too. I thought this was crazy. I was like, what are they even talking about?
What is going on? She says, I feel like I crave him. Like, that came out of Kendall's mouth about Leo.
Yeah.
Very perplexing, because Kendall's she's, like, the nice, kind of spiritual, like, hippie, crunchy granola tree hugger type. Very sweet, and, like, it's hard not to like her. And you would think, okay, Joe's a nice, simple guy, like, that makes sense. But Leo, like, what? I don't understand it at all. So, yeah, she's all over in love with Leo. Everyone on the beach knows about Leo kissing Chelsea. Except Kendall. So this is, like, word on the street that's just been passing around. Everybody knows that, he had a great day with Kendall, but he also made out with Chelsea on the low. And Kendall doesn't know.
Right after.
Right when they came back from their date. So Kendall's having a little chat with Kevin, the new voice of reason.
Yes.
Out here dishing advice to everybody. And she tells Kevin, like, I'm really into Leo. I can totally see it working beyond this. And Kevin's like, yeah, I mean, that's cool, but, like, he shouldn't have kissed Chelsea. And Kendall's face just dropped. She's like, wait, what? And Kevin immediately is like, oh, shit, you didn't know. You didn't know? Like, I feel bad for Kevin. He assumed this was common knowledge because everybody knows.
Right, because why would he know and not her?
Well, yeah. And Leo, like, everybody's been talking about it. So Kendall immediately is, like, obviously very upset, completely blindsided, had no idea that everybody was talking about this behind her back. And that this even happened, like, had no idea. So Kendall immediately confronts Leo and is like, so you kissed Chelsea? Like, what the fuck? Like, really? Leo. Yeah. Well, yeah, me and Chelsea hung out. Ugh. Leo's... He is...
I know,
he's the frat boy creep. He immediately downplayed the kiss to hang out.
I was about to say he's Sarah Huckabee Sanders.
Yes. Yes, blatant lies and blatant
just
obstructions
lies.
of justice. We're just gonna call it a hangout instead.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Just like how his dick pics are just texts, you know?
Right.
Immediately called it a hangout. Didn't even say kiss. Then he says it wasn't a makeout, it was just a peck.
Mm-hmm.
Then he said, it was just something fun that you do when you try to get to know someone. Which is like the weird...
What?
He said that, Justine. He said, quote, it was just something fun that you do to get to know someone. Make out with someone in a... Like, what? I ask questions.
Yeah.
Where are you from?
We have conversations, maybe a laugh.
Right. Maybe a laugh. You have siblings? What's your favorite movie? Right. Like, that's how you get to know someone. I'm not sticking my tongue in their mouth.
No.
Oh my God. He desperately, just the way he handles every incident. Because even I'm just thinking with the Becca thing, when Becca exposed his ass, and his first initial thought was to get on Instagram Live and like put some like laugh it off, whatever. Yeah. He like so desperately needs to undergo like HR training. It's like
yes.
He missed the Title IX workshop. He missed the sexual
no empathy whatsoever.
Harassment webinar. None. None. His go-to is to deflect, to lie, to put it back on you, to take no ownership of his actions. Like he's such a product of like hyper masculine socialization. Like he is that like in full form. So Kendall is just sitting here like he's gaslighting the shit out of her, and she's just sitting here like this is ridiculous. And she says flat out, she's like, well, you doing this and then hiding it from me, like all of this is signs for a cheater. Right. Like just quintessential signs for a cheater. And we now, like, you've established a distrust between us. Mm-hmm. And, like, I don't even know what to think anymore. And she just, like, walks away. Mm-hmm. Leo now. Now, Leo is in an uproar because someone snitched on him. Mm-hmm. And now this is what he's putting his focus into. Finding the snitch. Yep. Stomping around the island, trying to find who ratted him out.
You know who this reminds me of? You know in Bad Girls Club, who was that girl who was banging the pans around?
My God,
like,
Tanisha.
Y'all ain't gonna sleep because of me.
I ain't gonna sleep because of y'all. Y'all ain't gonna sleep because of me. That is a classic Bad Girls Club moment. I love Tanisha. Shout out to it's Tanisha, right?
Shout out to Tanisha.
Yeah. She was out here hosting the Bad Girls Club reunions.
Yep, she works.
Mm-hmm, she do.
Yeah. That's what this reminded me of.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
But white man version.
Exactly. Him stomping around the island like, if you gonna rat me out, I'm gonna just puff up my chest and just threaten to beat up whoever was the rat or whatever. I don't even know what he was doing.
He was just saying rat in every sentence that he was just shouting to no one. He was talking to no one. Just shouting out to the Mexican sun about this rat who was apparently telling Kendall all these horrible details about him when really it's you.
Yes.
She just sees right through you. You're garbage. That's it. You're caught. That's it.
Exactly.
Accept it.
Exactly. He's a man that like every woman should just run far away from this guy.
Sprint.
Far away. He's more concerned about the person who snitched on him rather than recognizing that just like what he did was shady and just own his thing. Like own his bullshit. Right. Apologize. Mm-hmm. Move on. Now he's just gonna be on this rampage of finding the snitch. Like it's just all the way wrong. This whole pattern of him just blaming people is just it's very troubling. So anyways, Kevin decides to pull Leo's side because it was Kevin, right? The rat, apparently, and he pulls him aside and says, "Yeah, I told Kendall. I thought she knew, As soon as I told her, I immediately figured out she didn't know. And so that's, why we're here now. But it wasn't my intention to start shit. And that's basically it. Leo, he doesn't want to hear anything. He thinks Kevin did it on purpose. He's trying to sabotage him. Or Kevin's like, Kendall's my friend. I'm not even trying to, like, hook up with her. I have asked her.
Yeah, like, I'm with Astrid.
Yeah, like, this is not, there's no ill will here. Like, I don't give a shit. And then Kevin said it right. He was like, look, Kendall has 2 guys. She has a very tough decision to make. And I think, personally, that she should know all the facts. Like, and what would be worse is if she sends Joe home and then finds out later that you kissed somebody and then she regrets her decision.
Right.
Like, that's not fair to her for her not to have all the full facts, basically. Leo claims that he was gonna tell Kendall. That's just some bullshit. Well, I was gonna tell her. No, you weren't. Fuck out of here. I was gonna tell her. And Kevin he just said, tell the girl that you went on a date with that you kissed somebody else. That's the right thing to do. There's no conversation to be had.
Right.
Like, this discussion, this back and forth, there's nothing here.
And if it's just something you do to get to know someone, why is it such a big deal? Why didn't you tell her?
Thank you. Exactly. He tried to downplay it was a peck. It's just a thing you do to get to know people. So why was you hiding it? Why was it a lie? Or a lie by omission?
Right.
Truly. Oh my God. And Kevin, he was dropping some gems here. So, yeah, Leo says, well, I'll tell her on my terms. Is there a rule that I have to tell her? And Kevin, he just dropped the mic. He was like, well, Kendall likes that rule. She would have appreciated that.
Ooh.
So, yes, there's no rule technically in Paradise, but Kendall would have liked to know. And that's all there's no discussion, Leo. That's it.
Right.
So Kevin, he leaves. Leo has literally learned nothing from this conversation and just continues on his, like, snitch rampage. And then this guy is so problematic.
Yeah, he's awful in every way.
In every way. So this pretty much starts Leo's gaslighting routine, basically, from this point forward. So firstly, he says in the confessional, quote, well, any girl who gets that upset about me kissing another girl probably wanted me to be exclusive, and maybe she should have told me that.
This is where he gets the nigga you ain't shit
Oh,
award
yeah.
from me.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Like, he's just garbage. Why should any girl who went on one date with you and then maybe 12 hours later have to ask you to be exclusive?
Right, or just have to ask you to not tongue down somebody 5 seconds later.
Somebody, right? Yeah, that's not hard.
No,
that's not a hard ask.
it's not a hard ask. And this mindset is very similar to what he said with the whole sexual harassment thing.
Yeah.
Like, those girls never said anything to me.
Exactly.
They should have came and told me. Like, he accepts no responsibility for his actions. No. He also accepts no responsibilities over other people's emotions.
Right. Because he doesn't feel physically threatened often.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
So I guess he can't relate that to feeling emotionally threatened. Even though he feels emotionally threatened all the time, clearly.
Yeah.
But he just can't put himself in anyone else's position.
No. My analysis of Leo is he lives so firmly in his white privilege, his male privilege, his height privilege. He's a big guy. His burliness privilege. He's a big, strapping white guy who walks into any room and immediately commands attention and respect. Yeah. He doesn't even have to open his mouth. Right. People will still, regardless, they're going to listen to what he has to say. So he never gets checked. He does not get checked very often.
Right.
So he always is in his mindset, he's in the right. And so he accepts no responsibility for any wrongdoing because in his mind, he doesn't do anything wrong. Because no one ever checks him because he just gets away with, like, everything. He just lives in this privilege that he has.
Yeah.
Oh my god. And so now we like literally watching this type of man who's like a nightmare to many people, particularly myself as a woman of color. We just see him being called the fuck out and how he's dealing with it, and it's just disgusting, and it's just showing how terrible of a person he is. So that was the first thing. The second part of his, gaslighting routine, he sits down with Kendall and comes out very defensive and heavy out the gate. You ruined my day by making me feel like I did something wrong by kissing Chelsea. Ooh, this literally is gaslighting.
Yes.
This if anyone wanted to know what gaslighting was, like, this is it.
This is
when
it.
You're
this
in the wrong and you put it on somebody else.
And your day is not ruined because of that.
Right.
Your day is not ruined because of that. Your day is ruined because of whatever demons are going on in your head. And because you lied about kissing Chelsea. You omitted that middle part of that sentence that is crucial.
Exactly. Exactly. And so Kendall, she was like, well, did you kiss Chelsea? Like, are they lying?
Right.
And he said, well, they're lying about everything else about me. It doesn't even matter. What matters is how we felt. What? Now, what are you actually saying, Leo? Huh? Right. H-U-H question mark. What? Because I'm lost now. Oh my god. And so Kendall, she says, when were you planning to tell me? Like, that's the biggest, like, when, if ever, were you planning to tell me? And again, deflecting back on her. Well, when you were ready to divulge about your other relationships in paradise, referring to Joe, then I would have told you. And then he goes on this whole thing about how, well, you haven't told me anything about Joe and what's going on, what's your past with Joe, yada, yada, yada. I hope it works out with Joe. So basically he's saying that he's trying to equate his little thing with Chelsea with Joe. Kendall's been on this beach with Joe for like a week. They've built a solid whatever. There's a lot of stuff with Joe. She's been tonguing down Joe. She has a whole relationship with Joe. There's a lot, that she has to tell you about Joe. But you know already about her relationship with Joe. You know that she's been kissed. You know that there's history there. So what else is there really to say? Your shit with Chelsea was on some sneaky shit.
Yes.
You hid that shit for a purpose. So there's no, like, well, you should have came to me about Joe first and then I would have went to you. Like, no, Leo, that's not how this works. No. Stop. So poor Kendall, she's just caught off, like, his whole, his tone, his whole, everything. This is the man who she said literally in the afternoon she was craving him.
I know.
And so now this whole reaction is really throwing her for a loop. So she says, like, your reaction is breaking my heart. Our date was phenomenal. And now, like, basically, she's like, I don't even know who the fuck you are. Like, what is this? And then he says, yeah, well, it's obvious, the date wasn't phenomenal for you. You're a phenomenal actress. And basically calls her a liar.
Yep, calls her a liar. Yep.
This whole thing is so gross. This whole thing is gross. Like, since when is Kendall a bad guy? Like, how does Kendall become a monster in your eyes? Yeah, what?
Oh my god.
So manipulative. So just really disgusting.
Like, she was just supposed to be hanging on, desperately in love with you.
Right. And you're supposed to be able to make out with people and she can't confront you about it.
Right.
Not even like, she didn't even come at him in any type of way. It was just like, I heard you made out with Chelsea. No. Why didn't you feel the need to tell me this? Like,
yeah.
And that was it. And she's very valid in having those feelings and coming to you with that. But you now can't accept no wrong. And so you're just going to be out here with all your aggression at her. Like, what? Crazy. So in that moment, grocery store Joe, he's heard enough of the bickering and he comes in to save the day. And pretty much everyone is done with Leo at this point on the beach. Yeah. The women have the power. He's not going to get a rose. No, all the women hear him, like, yelling at Kendall and having this, like, gross conversation. And so, everybody's ready for him to go. So Joe steps in, whisks Kendall away, and pretty much wins Kendall back. Yeah. And Joe didn't even have to do anything.
I know. He just went over there and was like, "You guys done?
Yeah, y'all done?"
And then pulled Kendall off the daybed and then
went on the daybed.
Yep.
They had a little conversation, and then she realized in that moment that I don't know what fucking planet she's been living on for the past 24 hours, but she came back down to Earth and is back with Joe.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Benoit and Jenna. Benoit is not happy that he basically got dumped by Jenna. Mm-hmm. And kind of gives his 2 cents to Jenna. Jenna, she can't handle the emotion, so she runs off crying and confides in Jordan and, you know, weirdly says that Benoit yelled at her, which I didn't hear
happen.
a yell. Yeah, did not happen. Jordan, you know, trying to stand up for his woman, he runs to Benoit. I heard you yelled at her. You're making her cry. Wells is like, yeah, also can second, did not hear a yell. Just putting that out there. Basically, Jordan and Jenna, they love drama. They love the drama. They've created this drama. Mm-hmm. Benoit is just wanting to kind of exit himself out, and now he's like getting dragged into this drama more. Like, it's just too much. The next day, Benoit comes to his senses, realizes he needs a rose, and so he needs to start leaving Jenna in the dust and finding anybody else. And so he starts to cozy up to Chelsea, who is, like, just everyone's plan B at this point, which is really sad.
I thought that as well when she was sitting on that hammock. Mm-hmm. I was like, damn, girl, you're just waiting for leftovers at this point. This is terrible.
Just getting all the scraps.
Yeah.
So Benoit's sitting here all googly-eyed, giving her all the eyes and laying in the hammock with her like she's the number one girl.
You know what it is? I think it's Chelsea's wardrobe. Chelsea is often very covered up.
Really? I don't even notice. I don't know.
A lot of those girls are running around in straight up.
That's true. Everybody's ass is blurred out the whole time.
Yes. Lots of black boxes everywhere. And Chelsea, being
mother
is not going to be out here. But that's probably exactly why she's not getting picked the way she is. Because she's not, like, nude.
And guys, first and foremost, think with their penises. So that leads the way first, and then the intellect and the other qualities. So
yes,
that could be. Maybe she's too wholesome for this crowd.
Yeah.
But, I mean, stick with your guns. I don't want to see her out here, her ass hanging out just because, like... Stick with your morals. And yes, I have a child back home and I can't be out here, so...
Like, right.
So suddenly a date card arrives, randomly, and it's given to Eric, your boo.
So
very exciting. Totally forgot Eric was even on the beach. Like, Angela, also haven't seen her ass in forever. So Eric gets a date card. He obviously asks Angela. That's who he's been kicking it with this whole time. Angela is smitten. She is really into Eric.
She loves him.
She said, I 100% see potential to fall in love with Eric. He treats me like a princess. So she's also very excited for this date. This is her first date in Bachelor World. She never even went on a group date on her season.
I know, which is crazy to me because she's really pretty and she seems nice, but that's probably not enough.
So they go off on their date and they arrive at this fancy hotel. They walk down this hallway. There's like this woman throwing rose petals, like very Coming to America.
I thought that as well. Yeah, I was like
a Mexican Coming to America.
Yeah.
And they arrive at this very swanked out suite. Like, really, really nice suite. There's a whole bathtub full of ice and champagne. There was a golden toilet. It's pretty cool. Yep.
There was a lot of seafood.
A lot of food.
So that tells me that the Bachelor knows that niggas love seafood.
We sure do. We love a good crab leg.
Yeah. Yep. And a good shrimp.
We love a good shrimp. So yeah, they're just in this suite. They put on their robes. They're opening up, all the gifts and things like that. The doorbell rings. A butler brings this giant, ridiculous ice cream sundae. It was humongous. And then he rings again. They bring in this cart of cheeses, since Eric's new catchphrase this season.
Oh yeah, like don't move the cheese. Steal my cheese.
Move with the cheese. Something.
I don't know.
I still don't understand it, but okay. So they're just sitting and chatting. Eric, it's been so effortless with us. Angela, yeah, we're always on the same page. I love getting to know you every day. I feel like we're at the starting point of falling in love. And Eric says in his little confessional that Angela's the one.
Still don't have much context for that, but I just have to accept it for what it is.
Yeah, well, blame the producers for not showing us nothing.
Yep, I know every inch of Jenna's brain.
Every morsel of tea and Colton.
Yep, every crevice. Don't really know that much about Angela or Eric.
Nope, not a thing.
But okay,
all right.
Whatever. It's fine.
So that's that. Back on the beach, Krystal, Connor, and Chris. So Krystal, remember, she came back from her date, never talked to Chris, just went to bed.
Right.
And so Chris decides to set up this little date for the two, makeshift date for the two of them. Sets up these 2 yoga mats and tells Krystal that he wants her to teach him yoga.
How is this? This is her job.
This is her motherfucking job. You're putting her to work right now.
Yeah.
She was fine laying in the hammock, minding her own business. Now you about to make her teach a fucking Bikram yoga class?
Yeah, it's not like her hobby. This is her job.
Right. She don't want to do this.
Why are you... that just showed me that he knows he has nothing in common with her. And so he's like, oh, she knows how to do yoga. Let me try and learn it real quick. And bond with her.
He also just has poor read on people. You're putting together a cute date for the 2 of you guys. Put together something that the 2 of you can enjoy.
Together.
It didn't even cross his mind that maybe Krystal might not enjoy this because she does this for a living.
Right, yeah.
So just bad read, Chris. They have their little yoga date, whatever. Next day, John, Venmo John, Jubilee went home packing, so now he's wondering who the fuck he's gonna get a rose from. But he's always had a little thing with Kendall, so he's...
This is so preposterous.
This is nuts.
This was so stupid to me.
So dumb. He's always had a little thing with Kendall, so he wants to try and reignite that. Even though, she's literally in the midst of this drama with Joe and Leo and all this stuff.
Leo.
John, this was not smart.
John, this made me know and realize why you're single.
Why is that?
He's lazy. This is just being lazy. If you're saying, oh, yeah, I think I had that thing with Kendall. Let me go try and just make out with her real quick on the daybed, see if I can steal her from Joe. What?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
You did not do any work throughout her going to the date with Leo, her literally married to grocery store Joe. None of that. You just said, oh, shit, I gotta stay. Hopefully someone else comes. But in the meantime, I think I looked at Kendall in the eyes
once
Monday. So let me just go, what?
That's true. Even Kevin's been putting in more work with Kendall than John.
Yes.
John should have been the one to tell about the kiss and
exactly
have a little side conversation with her, confide in her and all that stuff. But no, this is last ditch effort and grabs Kendall. They go on the daybed. Tells her he's been attracted to her, and she agrees. They've really had enjoyed their time together, talking and all that. And then they make out. And this was a mutual makeout. This was not just a John kissing Kendall. This was Kendall was fully into this as well, which...
yes.
That's not what she tells Joe. So she makes out with John, and she immediately regrets it. Literally, as she pulls her face away, you can just tell.
You can tell she was like...
Why did I just do that? What was the purpose of this? So, meanwhile, Joe, he's off talking with Eric. Eric is, giving his daily word to people. And Eric's read on the situation, he thinks that Kendall is scared of Joe because Joe's just very different from the type of guy she's dating or dates. She typically goes for people who are similar to her, hence, John. I could see the kind of similarity with, John.
Yes. Absolutely.
Leo, I don't really know what the fuck that is, but... He thinks that Joe is too different from what she typically dates, which is why she's kind of like running to all these other people that like remind her of herself or whatever.
Yeah.
So Kendall, fresh off of John, she immediately runs to go tell Joe, and explains that, you know, John kissed her, is how she put it, which is not the full truth, Kendall. Puts it all on John.
You definitely leaned in, girl.
Yeah, definitely leaned in. It was very mutual. And then says, you know, she keeps quote unquote exploring her curiosity with other guys because she really thinks that she's just scared of falling in love with Joe. Mm-hmm. And Joe admits to her, I don't know if he's ever officially said to her that he's falling for her. He's been doing this a lot in the confessionals. No. Yeah. Confessionals. And to Wells, too. He told Wells. To Wells, to everybody else. But he finally, in this moment, tells her that he's falling in love with her, too. And they're all cute and pretty much in that moment, like, officially become a couple. Yep. Right? And Joe says, you know, hopefully guys will stop kissing my girlfriend. That'd be nice.
I love how he talks.
I love it too. The accent has grown on me.
Oh my god, I love it. I love how she was like, I'm really scared of like falling in love with you, and he was like, I'm falling in love with you too. Yeah.
It's like very court. It's like very straight into the point. Yeah. Yeah. So time for the cocktail party. The women have the power. Annalise gives a nice little toast, you know, to love. This, you know, little cliche, whatever. Now Leo decides to give a toast of his own. God. And he says, you know, Kendall, it's nice getting to know you, but, you know, it's a real shame you're full of shit. What is with this guy?
I think he's really threatened by the fact that everyone loves her and that she's so nice. She killed him with kindness too. Just like she murdered Krystal, she killed him with kindness as well. And it's eating him inside his soul.
God. And you would think when someone like her, like, is killing him with kindness, that maybe that would be a learning moment for him to be like, oh shit, she's a really nice person. Maybe I should just not be so aggressively terrible. Like, who goes into a toast and says, Kendall, you're full of shit in front of everyone? Kendall! What? One thing Kendall's not is full of shit. She speaks her emotions. She speaks exactly how she feels, very plainly. She's very good with her words and very open and honest. Yes. Full of shit is one thing she is absolutely not.
That is so ridiculous that it's laughable.
Yes, it is. And you immediately just look like a dickwad, Leo. Like, no one is on your side. No one sees your side. So he tells her she's full of shit, and then he says, you know, looking around the room, all I see is a bunch of bullshit. Good luck to everyone. Good luck to grocery store bitch. And then walks away. Joe follows up and behind him, rightfully so. Was like, say that shit to my face, nigga. What the fuck?
With that big dick energy.
Yes,
that's right. Love it.
Two people would. Well, actually, no. Leo probably has overcompensation for like no dick.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so so Joe follows up like, say that to my face. The fuck. And then we see the quote-unquote fight that's been teased in the preview for forever. It was literally nothing. Leo throws a drink on Joe. The camera's moving all over the place. We can't actually see anything that's happening.
I know. I was annoyed because I thought I saw Eric like literally flying through the air.
Oh, what?
Like, I thought I saw him. I thought it was his navy blue polo. I saw literally jump on top of Leo.
What? Yeah, I didn't.
But I probably gotta watch it again.
Yeah.
Frame by frame, guys.
I feel frame by frame. I feel like ABC, maybe they can't show fights.
Oh shit, probably.
I feel like I see this.
This isn't like.
Yeah, not even just on
A&E.
Right, it's ain't Love and Hip Hop reunion or whatever. Or Bad Girls Club. Yeah. So I feel like they can lead up to fights, but whenever it gets to that fight moment, they do the whole, like, the camera moves everywhere, and, like, we can't see what's happening kind of bullshit. Joe, you know, gets his shirt wet, and that's basically it. Kendall, she's all happy. Joe defended her. She feels safe now. Blah, blah. So Leo home leaves, which means that 3 guys are going home. So the guys who are pretty much not coupled up are Benoit, David, who I totally forgot was even there still.
Yeah.
Venmo John, and Connor, who like just arrived. And the only woman who is not coupled is Chelsea. So Chelsea is the bachelorette right now.
Yep.
And has these 4 guys who have to court her. So first up is David. Now David, very weird strategy.
I know, lying, firstly, saying that he thought he had a real connection with Chelsea.
So my read on how he went to her was that, because he kept saying, like, as a friend, I thought he was trying to get her rose as a pity rose, because he was saying that next week, you know, the girl that he's really into might come. And so, like, Chelsea as a friend, like, look out for me as a friend, you know, we have a good friend connection, but, like, give me your rose so next week I can, like, find the love of my life. Basically.
Right. Why would that
what
ever?
The fuck?
Anyway.
Yeah. Like, why would she save you so you can send her home next week and save somebody else?
Right,
like,
yeah.
Made 0 sense, David, but okay. Next, Venmo John and Chelsea have a cute little moment, you know, chit-chatted up, they have a little kiss, and we learn that Chelsea's ex was half Asian.
Half Asian.
And so John is feeling good.
Yeah.
And I ain't mad at him. Work what you got.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was fun. And then Connor and Chelsea. Connor rolls up to the daybed, shirt literally buttoned down to his navel.
To the 4th button again.
All the way down.
Yeah.
And they share this little dry, dusty kiss. Like, there was nothing.
Yeah, it was terrible.
And then Benoit, 4th person. I totally forgot. It was another guy. Benoit and Chelsea. Benoit, he's just spitting all these words. Everything he says with that accent just sounds wonderful. So he tells her that, you know, I don't want the rose tonight. If you want me in your life, that will be my rose. Like, all these, like, very...
Yeah, he's, like...
flowery statements.
Right.
Benoit is desperate to fall in love.
Yeah. Doesn't matter with who it's with.
Doesn't matter who. Because he was just obsessed with Jenna, and now he's talking about how he wants Chelsea in his life. Like what?
Yeah. How, like, that's enough. He doesn't need to stay in paradise.
So stupid. I feel kind of bad for Chelsea.
Oh my god, I feel horribly for Chelsea.
Everyone around her, imagine this. You're on this beautiful island and everyone around you is in love.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you're the 19th wheel. Like, everyone's falling in love. Like, this is a nightmare. You're just seeing love all around you, and that's the one thing you want the most. And then on top of that, the guys who are left, you don't know if they want you or they're just sticking around for next week to see who else is coming.
Literally all of them, except for David, have gone on a first date with a date card with somebody else.
With someone else, yeah.
Like, you are the second choice.
Yeah, suddenly Chelsea's the one and they want to kiss and want her in her life. Like, so she can't trust anyone here. It's really sad. It sucks. And then, like,
horrible.
After this rose ceremony, the guys immediately have the power and she's back to feeling insecure again.
Yeah.
It's terrible. And so, yeah, time for the rose ceremony. The roses go out as planned. Krystal gives to Chris, Gospel Chris. Kendall gives to Joe. Tia and Colton. Jenna and Jordan. Astrid and Kevin. Angela and Eric. And then Chelsea, she has to choose between Benoit, John, David, and Connor. And she chooses John. Venmo John.
Yeah, I was like, what? But then I was not surprised at all.
Yeah, Benoit, he reeks of desperation. Like, he smells so bad of it. It's terrible. I smell him through the television.
I know.
Chelsea has to pick up on it. It has to be a turnoff to her.
Yep.
So I co-signed the John Chelsea thing. I mean, I just want to see anything with Venmo John, so that's just the first thing.
Yeah.
And then Chelsea, they treat single parents on the show in a very similar way that they treat people of color on the show.
Yes.
They're thrown in as an afterthought.
Yep.
You never actually know if the people who are there are actually even into people
right.
who are
kids.
have had kids or have kids, if they ever have experience with it or whatever. So it's like it's a crapshoot. It's just like the people of color. You don't know if they're even into you or people that look like you.
Yeah.
So I want to see her find somebody.
Yeah, me too.
So sure, try Benoit John. Let's see. And yeah, Benoit, he storms out in shambles. Doesn't even say goodbye to Chelsea.
This is where he gets my Becky of the week.
Okay.
Because I was like, well, first of all, don't they, doesn't he live in Canada as well? Maybe we can get Kevin's therapist's number.
Right.
Because he desperately needs someone to talk to.
Very much so.
But the fact that he was huffing and, like, keeled over crying over 2 breakups in 48 hours from 12 hours of knowing both of these people was just, it's just not enough to warrant all of this. Like, you need to put yourself together.
Yeah, you have to. You should not be in shambles like this.
No.
You should not be in shambles. Watching this him break down, it made me think, I don't know if you've seen this video that's floated around on, like, YouTube, Tumblr, of Eartha Kitt, where it's like an old video, you know Eartha Kitt, the old actress?
Yeah.
There's this video where she did an interview, this is back in like the 70s or something, and this man in the interview says to her, like, you know, what did you want a man in your life, or wouldn't that make you happier?
Yes.
And her immediate reaction is to bust out laughing.
Yes.
She howls laughing.
Yep.
And it's like, a man in my life will make me better? Like, is that a joke? She's like, no, I'm complete in myself. If a man comes into my life as a supplement, that's great. But I'm out here being my own bad self, and that's it. And that made me think, like, Benoit needs to get to that point.
Yeah.
You can't.
At least halfway there.
At least halfway there, my dude. Like, you need to be full, and this is for Benoit and everybody. You need to be full of love in yourself. You can't show up broken and in tattered pieces like this trying to find someone to fill that void. It's not going to work. This is how you leave paradise after 4 days in shambles because you broke up with 2 girls that you knew for 5 seconds. Like, come on, you need to be stronger than this.
Yeah.
Need to be stronger than this. So I hope he gets the help that he needs. Because I really like Benoit.
I think he's a great catch. Otherwise,
yeah, he's definitely a catch. Very good looking. Love the accent. Totally want the best for him, but he's got to go work on himself.
Yeah.
So, anyways, ceremony's over. The next day, we have a new arrival. People are still coming. Jesus. Our new arrival is Olivia, who pretty black girl from Ari's season. She went home night 1, I think.
Yeah, night 1.
Yeah. Really pretty. She's also very young, though.
I know. I thought that. Isn't she 23
like
or 24?
One of the 23-year-olds, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, go have fun, but this is... Okay. So she walks in, you know, everybody's shook because she's cute, and so all the girls are, like, clinging to their guys, like...
And her outfit's not playing either.
Outfit was not playing.
Yep.
And so, yeah, all the girls are clinging to their guys real quick. And so Olivia, it's just a bad time to come in because like there's so many solid relationships that it's like kind of pointless almost being here. So she pulls a bunch of people aside. She eventually pulls John aside, Venmo John, and you know he's from Chicago. She lives in Chicago. He tells her he's not pursuing anyone. So I guess Chelsea's not.
Yeah, Chelsea's out. Yep.
Chelsea's already out. Jesus. And so he goes off on this date with Olivia. And so for their date, they go off at night and they basically crash a quinceañera.
This is the most broke boy ass date I've ever seen in my life.
I wonder how they did this.
They called the catering company and said, "You got 2 more plates?"
Oh, like, we want to shoot on these days. What event do you have going on?
Yeah, what you got going on?
Right, we'll pay for the DJ or something. Yeah,
we'll pay for the DJ. Extra garlic bread.
Extra garlic bread. And so, yeah, they crash the quinceañera, and they basically just dance and have fun and kiss. We literally see no conversation between the 2 of them. None. Again, we get nothing.
Yep, we get nothing.
Nothing. The next day, or the same day. Who knows? Because the days are all the days are all jumbled in this editing room. Cassandra arrives. Now, Cassandra was from Juan Pablo's season.
Oh.
5 years ago.
Yeah,
She's 26.
What?
Which means she was 21.
21?
Yes.
Trying to date that daddy, Juan Pablo?
Juan Pablo,
He was
the father.
father.
But Cassandra is a mother.
Yeah.
She's a single mother. But I was just shocked that she was, because she said Juan Pablo season. I was like, damn, they dug her up. And then her age, I was like, damn, 26. That means she was a baby on his season.
Yeah.
So she was from Juan Pablo season. She was also on Bachelor in Paradise, I think season 1.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so this is her third chance. When she was on Paradise, she fell for, I want to say his name was Jonathan, the black guy.
Oh.
And they had a whole little relationship for a little bit.
Oh.
Also, she's a mother to a biracial son.
No. Oh, so Cassandra got a tight.
Cassandra got a tight. So you know who she was coming to Paradise for. And then somebody said on Twitter, I just looked on Twitter, somebody said on Twitter that she used to be engaged to some basketball player.
Cassandra!
Who I'm guessing is a tall black nigga, so...
Yeah.
She definitely got a type, so she out here.
Oh my God, Cassandra, get it together, girl. Why is she still single?
Still out here.
Oh my God.
So she pulls Colton first. She got athletes. She likes athletes too.
Yep.
Shit, I didn't even see that until now. Pulled Colton. Colton was like, nah, I'm up to you. And then she pulls Eric. And, oh boy.
Eric starts.
Here we go.
So
Eric is with Angela. Like, this is a thing.
Yeah, yep.
Eric is with
They
Angela.
We're all in.
They are fully in.
Yeah.
He said that she's the one. They're not dating anybody else. Had a good date, everything.
But not really. See, this is the thing that Angela, this is why I think she hasn't dated like niggas before. Why? Because really what you have to do, you can't just say like, oh, are we all in? And he says, yeah, we're all in. Because that only means for the day. That doesn't mean for, the rest of time. You have to get them to say, am I your girlfriend or no?
Oh my God, this is ridiculous.
No? That's how you gotta lay it out.
You gotta
otherwise they'll start blaming the sun, the moon, Mercury in retrograde. Jesus told me,
This is too much. This is some bullshit.
Yeah.
You should not have to pull out every morsel of every word of honesty out of these guys. This is crazy. So Eric, who is fully in a relationship with Angela, but he's going to pretend like he ain't. He sits down with Cassandra and basically downplays what he has with Angela. Says, we're taking things slow. I'm open, to, whatever you got going on. Meanwhile, Angela, she's feeling very confident. She's telling everybody she has nothing to worry about. Eric and I are committed to each other. We already said all the things last night, blah, 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 blah. Well, Cassandra invited Eric on the date, and he said yes without hesitation.
Nope, not at all.
No hesitation there. And so this made me think, so question I want to put out there. The ultimate question of, like, Paradise is it, if you have a seemingly sure thing with someone, do you bother to test the waters with anybody else? Like, are you doing yourself a disservice by not going out with other people? Or are you doing the right thing by staying loyal to your one little person?
So, my thoughts on this, I think that the problem or the flaw in the formula for this TV show is that the girls come here for one reason and the guys come here for another.
Oh.
The girls come here to be Ashley, I, and Jared, or whoever, who are like successful ones, right? The ones who have babies and are married with the white picket fence. That's why the women come. The guys are like, I'm just here to have fun, meet some new people, and hang out. AKA, get mad pussy. So, and free vacation. So you get these girls who, if you're not steering the game right, the way that like Krystal or even like Tia, who was like spinning Colton into a relationship, like lassoing,
tricked him in. He'll wake up tomorrow.
Into a relationship.
He'll wake up tomorrow and be like, "Fuck, how did I get here?"
Yeah, exactly. then you're not going to end up with that fairy tale ending that these girls want. And then these guys are like, damn, I feel bad, but like this other girl looks good, so I'll see you later.
That's a really good point. Yeah. And that's that's like this bachelor world. Like these women, we're looking for love. I'm sure there's a sprinkling of the girls in there that are there for Instagram or whatever, but for the most part...
Or just there to maybe get mad dick, who knows?
Or get mad dick, but mostly the women there are genuinely looking for love. I believe. But the men, their intentions are on a case-by-case basis. Like, some are there for love, some there for Instagram, some this, some that. Like, yeah, you just never really know.
Yeah.
And, yeah, Eric, oh, no, this was very perplexing. So Eric, he agrees to go on this date, and he, of course, owes Angela explanation. So he pulls her aside and says to her, like, you know I literally told you yesterday that I won't date anybody else, but, I woke up today and felt differently. So I'm going on this date. And I really like you, but I want to explore. And just all this bullshit. Angela is pissed.
Yeah, she's really mad.
And I'm right there with her.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Because she feels lied to.
Yeah. She was lied to.
She was lied to. Now the excuse is suddenly you woke up this morning and you feel differently. What are you talking about?
I'm telling you, man. The tide came in, and now he feels differently.
This is some bullshit. So she's pissed. She storms off. She's crying. She's crying out of anger. Like she's feeling some type of way. And now all the girls in Paradise are like a little shook because they're like, fuck. These men ain't shit.
Right.
If Eric can wake up today and feel some type of way, who the hell else is there that's going to wake up and tell me I ain't shit? And that was the episode. We did get a preview of next week. And apparently next week is 3 fucking hours on Monday.
Hours long.
I can't even. On my Labor Day.
Honestly.
Oh my God. That's way too long. I love this shit, but that's way too long.
Yeah.
So anyways, it does look like we have a lot of drama that's going to be coming next week. Basically, everyone was crying in the preview. We see Jared is going to propose to Ashley I, so I'm definitely going to go cook dinner during that.
Yeah, fuck out of here.
It's a good chunk of the hour, extra hour I don't need. Eric is now in this love triangle that he created for no fucking reason.
Well, because he wanted to go out with Cassie.
You want to go out with Cassandra? He played it out wrong, though. He said way too many things. Way too much to Angela literally yesterday. And now going out with Cassandra. I get wanting to, play the fields and whatnot, but this is not the way, nor the time. We have some other visitors. Jade and Tanner come. Carly and Evan, they're bringing their kids and everything like that. A new arrival, Shoshana, arrives to Paradise. I don't really know who she is. She is going to be going on a date with Camille. And then Annalise accuses her of being a witch.
Witchcraft, yes.
Of witchcraft and putting voodoo on Camille or something. I don't even know.
Yeah, who knows.
And also saw that Jordan... from Winter Games is going to be there.
Winter Games, which he seems like an asshole, so I don't really know how that's going to appeal to anyone, but...
Right, and why are they still bringing people? There's 9 solid couples, or at least they seem solid, but...
Who knows?
We'll see. And so that was the episode, everybody. Please rate, review, subscribe. Please go do the things. Much appreciated. Don't forget to email us your mailbag questions. Our mailbag episode is coming up September 24th. Rewind to the top of the episode if you want to rehear the themes that we're going to be discussing. But send us your emails or send us your questions, concerns that come up as it relates to those themes. And hit us up on Twitter, handle 2 BLK Girls, 1 Rose.
And when you email your questions over, email them to the number 2 blackgirls, the number 1 rose@gmail.com.
Yep. And that's it. All right.
That's it, guys.
Sweet. Another one down.
Yep.
Talk to you next week.
Bye.
Bye.